Hi everybody, Dana here again, and welcome back to Tuesday Tips for Leaders of Volunteers. This week we are talking about Generation Z and engaging volunteers who are kids to teenagers to young adults. Generation Z, or Zoomers as they're also called, are people who were born around 1997 to around 2010s, 2012, I think is the official cutoff point. So that's kind of prime time adolescence. And adolescence is a great age to build empathy and community connections and that strong sense of self and emotional intelligence and doing something good in the world. It's a really, really prime age to engage people in this type of service work as a volunteer. And don't make assumptions about tech access or comfort only from an age. And that's true of Zoomers, and that's also true of Boomers, older generation, and that's also true of my generation, Gen X, where we grew up with different kinds of technology and being more or less comfortable, but really leave it to the individuals that you're talking to, interviewing, onboarding as volunteers to get the real story on what kind of technology they're using and most comfortable with, rather than making an assumption that, oh, kids are always stuck on their phone and teenagers today, they're too busy, they don't want to volunteer, and no, they're going to be flaky. Those are really outdated ideas, and we just want to let go of any kind of ageism or assumptions that we're making about people's availability or interest or commitment or schedule only because of their age. Now, the other important thing to keep in mind is that Gen Z recognizes that there's a lot to fix in the world. Unfortunately, they're a generation it has inherited many, many problems: social justice, climate change, political turmoil, divisiveness. They're right in the thick of it. And that they know that something needs to be done to make the world a better place, and they care about it. We've had a lot of research on this. And the challenge is how to turn their young passion into action and real impact. And that's what I found both working with this age group more recently and over the years, teenagers in general, that once you dial into something that they're really interested in, that is a very, very strong commitment or even a lifelong career that's getting developed. So focus on leveraging the skills and experience, again, that each individual teenager, Gen Z volunteer might have, that you lack in your department, and allow them to feel a sense of ownership over the many projects that they do take on. And again, with certain level of interest and skill and expertise, a lot of people in this age group, teenagers to young adults, can absolutely lead projects where they are the experts. So again, throwing that kind of certain ideas of ageism out the window. It's also important to not distinguish or understand that Zoomers tend to not distinguish between formal and informal volunteers, or really be dialed into doing something by the rules. They just want to see what has to happen, especially the last few years of the pandemic. There's been a lot of really inspirational stories of teenagers in neighborhoods saying, I have to just get groceries to my neighbors who are homebound, and I'm going to do it. No other organization is doing it. I took a quick look. I'm just going to do it myself. So there's this great kind of, we're just going to get the work done when we understand where it needs to be done and how we can do it. So rather than feeling like you're competing against informal or mutual aid networks or volunteering that's happening, partner with that more. Bring more of that into your programs and allow for that flexibility of either aligning with or doing projects with or completely officially partnering with maybe some informal volunteer groups that aren't affiliated with a nonprofit, but they're doing great work. My favorite example of this of all time is #TrashChallenge. It started in 2019 in Ukraine. I have a whole blog post and some other videos about it that I'll link to in this description below. But that was teenagers cleaning up a schoolyard and competing with each other with their phones on social media on who's going to do the best job cleaning up garbage in this area before, during, and after shots. And then gently kind of fun gamification type of competition of, I got more bags of trash than you did. Haha, maybe you'll win next time. But that what a great kind of gamification or competition or friendly little rivalry to set up. Now, we never want to make that high stakes or that somebody feels othered because they're not participating, but gamification is another really easy way to kind of plug into the majority of this generation. You know, they're more likely to be online. 85% of Gen Z is regularly using or on YouTube. About 70% are on Instagram and Snapchat. Less of a presence on Twitter, some, especially around fandoms and some social justice youth work and things like that. So again, cause-driven rather than making assumptions about age or background or any other demographic info about the group. Is really just kind of ask the community itself, what do people this age want to do? The other thing that I want to make for a Tuesday tip point is this is the future generation of donors as well. So if you engage someone or different ages in a family in your mission of your agency, then that carries through, and hopefully valuing the work that they're doing carries through to if and when they have their own financial independence or stability, or if they can tap into generational family resources. These causes become very important. Micro donations and micro volunteering or remote work is also something that's easy and popular for this generation to do. So this is a generation that is used to crowdfunding and Patreons and using the internet and social media in particular as a really quick and easy promotion and fundraising tool. So that's not hard to say either create a partnership with a corporate sponsor or another community group or foundation that for this many youth volunteer hours we'll get this kind of donation. You can do it that way, but also just using different apps and platforms that might have a little, hey, you volunteered today? Donate a nickel. Maybe they can donate a nickel, their family donates more, whatever it is. But again, not to be dismissive just because of age or be afraid of asking for different kinds of donations just because of age, when we want to kind of plant that seed that there's a lot of ways to support the nonprofit work that needs to be done in the community, and making that work as flexible and easy as possible to participate in for people of all ages is super important. Cannot do a video about youth, teens, minors without mentioning the safety factor, the risk factor. So having volunteer opportunities where the age groups that you're working with, especially if it's minors or families with mixed ages of people, that feels safe, that feels physically safe, it feels emotionally safe, and it is as safe as you can possibly make it in the task itself and in the group of other volunteers or staff members that those kids are working with. There's some real basics about youth safety that I go into. I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to make a whole other dedicated video to that. But if you're not sure where to start with a youth program, I'm going to link to some resources in this video and in the youth and working with family safety video that'll be upcoming pretty soon in a future Tuesday tip. So I hope you've enjoyed Zoomers, Gen Z, and working with this population. It's really been delightful when I've been able to do this work with high school and middle school and college age people over the years. And I hope you enjoy these Tuesday tips. Hit like and subscribe if you're not already subscribing to the channel. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next time.